How would you describe your relationship with Coach Sharos?
Very good.
Yeah.
Of course, two people can't be coaches in the same, without some disagreement, but 99% of the time I agreed with what he was doing. Yeah, I thought that athletics, if done correctly, would help later in life or later with any particular job, or when they had difficulties, as they would as an athlete at the high school. Realize that if they kept working on it, even if they had problems and weren't doing as well, keep working, and that'll make you successful.
He was one of the most influential person in my life because of track and field. He guided me through my whole high school career in it. I played basketball for him. I got a bond with him that was more than just an athlete and a coach. He challenged you, you know, and he had a lot of my coaching techniques that I've learned over the years are from Coach LaBreche. He had a way to see if somebody had some athletic ability, and then he'd wait, and then he would approach that person, and he'd have a discussion with them, and hopefully they would see the light, and they would move forward.
Bob knew a lot about sports. He was a JV basketball coach. He was a cross-country coach. He was a track coach. So he went across all medias, and he knew how to coach kids. Very calming, very reassuring, and obviously very successful teams.
When I think of South Windsor, we had some of the outstanding athletic teams in all of Connecticut.
Bob LaBreche, I think he was a special man that really inspired me in a way of pushing me to the limits of my ability. He's seen something in me that you don't even see in yourself, and especially in practice or especially in the meet, you know, doing a half mile or a quarter mile, you know, as soon as you hear his voice, you know, he put the fear in guiding you.
He was creative too, like cross country. We had some great workouts with. He would do a thing where he'd figure out everybody's fastest times, and then he would put together a team so that, or you would go off, the slowest guy go first, and then the next, and then you would have to chase him down. So it was a cat and mouse thing, and that caused you always to have, you know, good workouts because you're trying to catch everybody.
He used to like challenge me, almost doubt me. Like if we're going up against someone that, you know, was pretty good, he'd go, no, you have to work harder before you beat this guy. You're a long way off. I don't know if you're ready to go against him yet. And so it was like, no, don't doubt me. I'm going to do it. So that worked for me.
He always said, anybody can be in a track team, really. There's always an event for someone. They can always do something. Mm-hmm. But he said, you also have to do the work. And the more work you do, the better it pays off. Mm-hmm. And he was right, you know, you got to work at it. And track sometimes is, you know, you got to run a lot. And it can be tough. But you got to do it every day.
79 girls cross-country team. That was the first cross-country team at South Windsor High. Neil Bolio had just started a team, 78 the year before. These girls were coming up. You were a co-coach on that team. Do you remember that first team and introducing that program to South Windsor High and working with those girls?
I do remember it, and I think they enjoyed it. They were the first team that, you know, females were kept out of athletic events for years, and I can remember them not only working hard, but enjoying it and having fun.
Coach LaBreche, I adore you. You were a man that took on women and did it. We sang on the way home when we lost on the bus, and I think we drove you nuts. Fond memories, and so happy to be able to have run on your team. And we found out Mr. B wasn't coming with us. I wanted you as a coach through high school.
They're about 12 years old, so I know a little bit about him, and I couldn't be prouder to be able to call him my friend. He's very caring. He's a humanitarian. I think he's the champion of the underdog. His role model was Roberto Clemente, which I think tells you a lot about Bob, because he saw what Roberto did as a humanitarian, and I think Bob kind of mirrored his life doing those same types of things. And if you're Bob's friend, you're Bob's friend for a lifetime.
He's just a loyal person, easy to get along with, and just a good friend to have. Just friendly, and he would share, I'd go over his house, 6, 7 years old, he'd have board games. We'd play games at his house, and we just got along. He got along with everybody.
When I bring up Lindy Remigino, what comes to mind for you?
A lot of times an athlete will be very good, but he's not a very good teacher of what he does. And he was a sprinter, but he was very knowledgeable about the other events like middle distances and the distance events. And of course, track and field is many sports within a sport, and he knew a lot about many of the sports.
I think what impressed me most about my father is that he used his Olympic fame to empower a lot of his athletes and other coaches. Certainly with Bob LaBreche going into that, I think any coach would really be very happy to see that happen, and really heartwarming to see that someone you had that influence on went in to have a great career in coaching, and Bob certainly had that. And I think my father would have really been heartwarming for him to see that.
The first encounter was with Bob LaBreche was going down to the athletic director's office, and Bob and Charlie shared desks, literally butted up against each other, facing each other. It was an interesting contrast between the two. Charlie was kind of gruff, and he could be funny, but most of the time he was very serious and very hardcore. Bob LaBreche, on the other hand, was just loose and fun, had a great sense of humor, was always looking to encourage his athletes and fellow coaches. So it was a great first encounter with Bob.
Always had the knack of keeping his kids grounded, especially the kids who were very talented and good performers. An example of that would be, he told me that in the fall of 1993, the incoming freshmen were going to be the last group of kids he would work with for 4 years, because when they graduated, he would retire. Well, the incoming group of boys that year were very good, very talented, but they were full of themselves. And so it comes to the awards ceremony in the library at South Windsor High School, and they were all smiling and, full of themselves and expecting rewards and everything. And he walked over to them and he said, "You guys have not done anything yet." And I'll always remember that. But he just had a way of keeping kids grounded so they wouldn't get, he wanted them to stay hungry is what he wanted.
Bob LaBreche is, in my book, Bob LaBreche is kind of a hero. Bob was always in the shadow, and he should have been in the limelight. Bob was an outstanding coach. He was a tremendous friend. He was very helpful to me in my program, especially the cross-country program. Whenever I had a question, Bob was there. He was steady. And I always think that he was in the shadow of Coach LaBreche. But
Coach Sharos.
With Coach Sharos,
Yeah.
right. In his own right, he was an outstanding coach and an outstanding man. I couldn't say enough about Bob. I loved him.
He seemed to get a lot more credit for the basketball. Did you ever feel overshadowed? Do you ever feel you're
I appreciated Coach Sharos, Charlie, a good friend of mine, and when we weren't coaching, I went and met with him at his house. He came to my house occasionally, and most of the time I agree with him and learned a lot from him.
My father, Charlie Sharos, and Bob LaBreche were great friends. They coached together. I mean, they played cards all the time. And one thing I always remember about Bob is infectious laugh. He really did have an infectious laugh. You know the old saying, opposites attract, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, my father, he wanted to win for sure, but he enjoyed the kids and he enjoyed Bob a lot. They had so many good times together. Not just playing cards. They used to go out to eat pizza all the time, like after games. Bob would come to our house before they went to games and go to games together all the time, or they go to different events together. So they had a real special bond.
I have the highest regard for this guy. He's probably one of the finest people in the softball club as far as never a problem, never anything, just always good word for everybody, always cheering people on. And I think the coaching thing, followed him through in his life retiring, because he was a good coach and a good mentor. So, and I know personally him and Haiti, and they're both really fine people, and I look up to them very much.
How important has Haiti, your wife, been to your life? I do want to.
Very much. She's helped me very much, and I'll never forget what she's done for me all these years. And she is, I'll use the word wonderful, and we get along 99% of the time. There are some men that have said to me, we never disagree. They're lying, because nobody gets along every minute of their lives. We have our disagreements, but we get over them, and we still love each other very much. I hope that I helped them become successful people in whatever they did after they got out of the high school, and I continue to hear from them, which helps me in my old age. And they said, Coach, you had a lot to do with my success in life.
I mean, running and jogging and running, or
jogging and running and it's jogging. Sprinting, jogging. That's right. It's jogging and running and sprinting. You're right. All right. So we have to say, Coach LaBreche, this is for you.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
Coach LaBreche, this is for you. Bob LaBreche. Bob LaBreche. Bob LaBreche. Oh, Bob LaBreche. He is my coach. He's got me jogging and a running and a sprinting. Bob LaBreche. Bob LaBreche.
Coach LaBreche, or Bob LaBreche, was hired as a math teacher, and he started the track program and became my assistant in basketball, and we spent 24 years together. And it was a great relationship, and in fact we're still very, very friendly. He lives down in Arizona now, and we call each other, keep in touch with each other. So it was a great relationship.